Hello, 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 everybody. Everybody. Let's crack it. What's happening? How is everybody doing? Guys, it's gonna be very hard to make this video, but Paku, my bird, passed away. I'm trying to collect myself, but just for those of you here, you don't know who Paku, my bird is, but um, uh, he was a very special bird that I got inherited, and it's gonna be a very emotional life. Just so you know, guys. I have cried on the internet before, so I'll make a fool of myself. But so you know, life does get you this chokehold, and it sucks. You gotta live through it. You gotta go through it. And I was talking about grief the other day. I understand, people grieve in different ways and stuff. But of course, I'm gonna bring myself back up. I'm not gonna stay down forever. It's just, when something just away right now, it really hurts the effective moment of the day. So currently, right now in Houston, it is below freezing. Hello, hello, deflection. I know. I'm trying to keep it together here. It is below freezing, and it's really, really cold. I am sad. I know. Thank you for joining. Um, it's just there's a lot of factors that play into his past. I don't know. We don't know. I will get into something in a few. I just of his passing a lot. I reviewed his whole CCTV cameras for for the whole entire day, all day, how he ate and everything else. His age, there's a whole bunch. His age, the weather, his weight, and like his imbalancement. There was a lot of factors, and I don't want to blame myself all the time, but sometimes in life we do this. We ponder on how we could have prevented any such actions. I got home late last night. I got off of work, and it was cold. Yeah. So there's a lot of factors, besides the cold. And I know I didn't put a cover over his cage before I left. I covered him. I covered his cage like when I got home, like 15 minutes after. Well, about like maybe 30 or 40 minutes after. And then, I covered his cage. But there's a whole bunch of factors that it just plays. There's so much, Nobody sees death coming. Nobody really sees death coming. Some of it may be, yeah. So nobody really sees death coming. I I know that he eats and he loves too much on his food. he's always been this skinny type of bird, and like his torso would be like really skinny. And my cousin says that, um, will you be holding a funeral? I'm. I will get to that in a few minutes. Um, so my cousin said that he was always a skinny bird, but you gotta give him some more food, more protein, and I was gonna switch his food because he eats, but I feel like the food doesn't really fill him up, because of his weight. So he was always had like a bone sticking out in the front of him, and I switched his food, and he's still kind of like very bony, and he's been like that for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years already. Um, when he was at the clinic, this is how I got Paco. Sorry, I gotta drink my H2O too. Um, I got him. I inherited him because my cousin, he's a veterinarian, and the veterinarian, the guy was going to, basically give up the clinic because he was getting into retirement. And then it so happened that my cousin said, he said, "Do you want a bird?" And I was in the market for a bird, another bird, because at that time I had Claire. Claire was my little canary. She passed away in 2022. She was this tiny little bird, and I was like, I said yes, like, yeah. And then he said, okay, um, we'll set up a time and day. That way I can give you the cage, and I can give you him. Hold on. And then after that, um, I was like, okay, I'm getting another bird. I was so excited and so joyful of getting a bird, a big bird, and I didn't know what kind, because I was so like, oh my god, in that moment. And then when I went to go pick him up at the clinic, I was like, oh, he's such an amazing looking bird. And mind you, this bird is expensive, very expensive bird. And this is throughout the video too. I'm gonna show some photos of Paco. This is him at the clinic when I first picked him up, and I some things you just sticks, you know. Um, so uh, before I say how expensive he was, I got him inherited, so because of my cousin's clinic, but he has this little. The lighting's not that great in here. Let me see. I wonder. Okay. So this is where he came from. Not the clinic, but this is paper. It says, "Hi, my name is Paku," and then that's him. And then it says what kind of bird he is. A Pioneus. And then, like, this is on his cage when he was at the clinic. Careful, I will bite. And then it talks about what kind of bird this is and how to pronounce it, the size, where they came from. Mind you, this is an old little thing. The breed, the family history, it literally says a lot of things if you want to go look it up. But those birds are very expensive. You would be surprised how expensive they could be. So much dust going on. Hold on, let me. Okay, there it goes. But you'll be surprised how expensive those birds could be. So I knew he was going to be like an expensive bird. And when I first got him here in the apartment, his cage, you had to pay for Paco. No, I didn't have to pay. I got inherited, because the owner too, after he retired, he passed away, and yeah, it was just it's life is so weird, you know. Let's see. Told myself. So let me see. I have a photo of where his cage setup was in the beginning. Well, video. I do a lot of videos. Oh, it's in my other. It's probably on my tablet. There's a video. Oh, there's a photo of him watching my car. Okay, here. See, that's him when he first kind of arrived. He actually let me pet him. Hello, hello, welcome in. But I had him against where the Hot Wheel wall is. And then he was with Mr. Bones. I'll show the area, um, and whenever I get through the videos. So yeah, his cage was. Let me see. There's one. His cage was in the corner of where my Hot Wheel wall is, and that's him. I don't know if you can see it, but he's crawling upside down. He basically kept my mind busy after Claire left. After she no longer living in the earth. When Claire died, I had an empty space. I had an empty space, like where she's at was set up, because I had her cage up in the air on a little hook, and I was all like, I got so sad because I'm like, I have Paco's cage over here, and now she's not here, and it just makes me so sad. So then I moved Paco's cage towards the window where her cage used to be, to fill in that gap. And I cleared up a lot of space, where he was before. And I moved him there because it's right next to the window. And when he was at the clinic, he was always next to the window. And they say that it's good to keep birds close to the window because they want to look outside. I always keep my windows open, not the whole window itself, but the curtains, the blinds open. Hello, hello, love bless. I know he passed away. It makes me so sad, and I'm just trying to cope with it. This is a little dedicated video of how I got him, what happened that today. I know it sucks, and you know what? I haven't even told Claudia yet. Now, I was going to tell her that I was going to do a live stream about it, but I was seeing if she randomly showed up, or Kevin. And thank you for the little likes, greatly appreciated. Um, I know it's very heartbreaking for me too. Um, when the first times that he was with me, Like he didn't know who I was. So it took him at least a whole month for me to touch him, you know. And then the first time he interacted with me was just, I don't even remember if I caught that on camera, but he put his head down and he wanted me to pet his head. And I was all like, oh my God, I'm finally, getting to know him. He's finally getting to know me. The bird was so nice and sweet. I know he was a cutie, and I I I got an attachment towards him after quite some time, and he felt very at home and safe because where he was at the clinic, he always had like dogs and cats just screaming and hollering, people, phone ringing. Like it was funny because you could see his reaction whenever like I would be playing a movie and the phone will ring. He would be like, ah, ah, ah. He'll start either like doing some sort of weird noise because that's what he remembers in the clinic, a phone ringing and someone picking it up and just a lot going on. So after that, I was like, Paco, you finally get to be in retirement mode because basically Paco's retired now. He's no longer a showbird in the clinic, a little bird. He's actually now in a home and where he could be, be safe. Here's some more videos. I want to put videos every like 5 minutes or so. Wait, let me go down. Oh, wait, actually, I gotta go up. I don't know. I don't know if I have audio. And that's it. That was when he kind of first arrived, and I was trying to interact with him. He did not want to interact with me in the beginning. He was just so scared. How he passed away. Um. So, like I said, I'm trying. I'm getting there slowly but surely. After like I don't know, so many years I've had him. I think probably like 5 or so years. It feels short, but it feels long at the same time. Like it's kind of mixed emotions how long I had him. I actually gotta look into the paperwork. But was that? Oh, it's my neighbor. Um, I I gotta tell you, you know, having him around was so fun, right? I enjoyed every single moment of it. I have a routine every day. It's a basically routine every day to feed Goguru, feed Paku, and the routine that I had. It kind of sounds all over the place. It is all over the place, but today I had like a weird feeling. Well, last night, let's just say, last night I don't know what was I thinking or whatnot, but last night I was all like, I'm in appreciative mode right now. Like I'm appreciating life. I'm appreciating everything that life has. And then I look over to Goguru, and Groguru's looking at me, and then he's like, he actually wants me to pick him up. And it's very rare. It's very rare that my chinchilla wants me to pick him up because he likes to run away. So, uh oh, I got things going on. But I I was over here petting my chinchilla, and I was like, "Oh, you're so soft," and I appreciate you being here in my life. You know, I always wanted the chinchilla. And after that, I I gave him the chinchilla bath, right? It was just like a weird moment in my life where I felt like something was coming up. And then last night, um, hold on. So, like I said, it's kind of all over the place. Let me go back to me first getting home. So, last night I got home. I got home and I usually open the door and then look at his cage and say, Paco. And then I get in, I put on my PJs, well, and then I take a shower. Well, take a shower, put on my PJs, and then I usually play video games and then like cook my food. But this time around, like I didn't want to play. I didn't feel like playing. I don't know what I felt. I felt weird. When I came home, I just felt weird. And Paco's still alive at this moment. Uh, so I was just like, I guess I'll eat because I want to take a chill pill tonight. And I just want to relax. So, because the next day I was off, which is today. So I'm over here cooking my food. Randomly, my grandma calls me and asks me because she rarely calls me, and so I got scared because it's what 10 o'clock at night, and she calls me, and I'm like, huh, what happened? And then she just asked me if I was safe. I came home safe, and then I was like, yeah. And then she said, did you cover your bird? And I said, yeah, I'm about to cover him as soon as I'm done eating and everything else. And then she's like, yeah, you better cover him because it's gonna drop down and it might even snow. And I'm just like, yeah, I know those things, but I want to see him in the cage, at the same time because it feels weird having a cover over, you know. So after that, I was making my food. During making my food, I I heard him eating. I heard him eating his food, and normally this is on a daily every other day. Let's just say every other day. I can't say daily because sometimes I'll come home and I'll eat, but sometimes he likes to join me while I eat my food. So like I would have the light on, and then he'll randomly get up out of his cage, and he'll join me eating. He'll eat his food while I'm eating my food. So I was gonna, I think I turned on my PlayStation, and then I hear him eating. I was like, Paku, what are you doing? You eating right now? I'm not even eating yet. You're not gonna wait for me? That's how I was telling him that. And I have all that on my CCTV camera. So then I get my food and I put my food down on the table, and I turn on my light, and then I see him eating his food. The way he was eating his food, um, I don't have I don't have anything. I don't know if I have anything to describe it, but let's just say this is his food bowl right there. That's his food bowl. This is him, and his little feet are on the food bowl. And he's eating. He's going just repeatedly going back and forth. He's eating, munching. But the weirdest thing was that his eyes were shut, closed completely. And it looked very weird because I went up to him and I said, Paco, you eating right now? And then I was like, you're eating right now. Are you asleep? And he's just constantly doing that same motion. And then I was like, Paco, are you asleep while eating? I never seen you sleep while eating, you know. And then when I turned on the light, he's opening his eyes like, what the heck? What's going on? Like he was not there. And that freaking is gonna stick with me to that's gonna stick with me to my grave. Because it literally looked like he was not there at all. And I've never seen him eat like that and sleep at the same time while eating. And I'm like, and when I woke him up and I said, Paco, his eyes were like completely closed. And then he looks around, he's like trying to figure out what's going on. And then he goes to the next level of the cage. So I thought that was very, very strange, very weird. Like I said, there's a lot of key factors of everything right now. Like so much going on. So I ate my food. I went to get a cover, like a little mini cover. I thought I had a bigger cover, but I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if I washed it because it was like a big cover. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if I left it at my grandma's, but I was gonna use that cover for the night because it was cold. It's getting below temperature. So, are y'all still here? Are y'all still here? Because I'm about to tell the story. I'm gonna go empty my cup real quick. Okay, I'm coming back. Sharing on your live stream. Thank you, thank you. Um, so here's the story. I'm trying not to overwhelm myself, but it is cold. I know it was cold. I put a little bitty blanket on him. I could have had a bigger blanket. I don't know if that was the fault or the cause, but he did have his feathers sticking up. And when I put the blanket over his cage, his feathers went back down and he looked like he was comfortable. So as time went on, when I was looking at my CCTV cameras, golly. Well, let's just say the moment that I found him. We're going to skip through that real quick. So I woke up. I woke up at, I think, 11:45 ish. I brushed my teeth. I washed my face and I did my usual. And usually, what I'll do is I'll feed everybody. I'll feed my chinchilla. I'll feed Paku. So then, oh my god. So then, I go to the living room, and I noticed, his cage is still covered. So I was like, it's time for him to eat right now. So let's go ahead and uncover the cage. When I took the cover a little bit off of his cage, I saw him hanging. I mean, hanging with his beak open on the bar. And I immediately dropped, like, my emotions went all over the place. And I was like, Paku, Paku, Paku. And I went to go get another rag, like a cover. I got that cover real fast. And his beak was stuck. It was stuck on the branch that he sits on. So his beak was there and his feet were dangling. And I was completely devastated. I thought he was still there because I thought I saw movement. So when I grabbed the blanket, I grabbed him and rubbed him and it was like, hey, hey, how are you? Paco, Paco, you're right. Paco, you're right. And I tried my hardest because I panicked. I panicked because I'm like, oh my god, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. Like I was really panicking, and then I saw nothing out of him. Nothing. He was cold to the touch, and I was like, no, he can't be dead. So I held him in my arms. I held him in my arms and I tried to put the blame on myself because of the cold and him being against the freaking window, but there's so many factors behind. I feel like there's so many factors behind his death. Not only was it cold, it was like so much behind it. And he was always clumsy and he always fell all of a sudden. Like he'll lose his balance and fall. And he's done that so many times where he actually gets stuck and I had to help him back up because he can't get back up. So I held him and I was just immediately I went to my CCTV cameras and to see when he actually fell. And it looked like he fell at 3 o'clock, around 3 o'clock in the morning. And I just went to sleep an hour ago. I went to sleep at probably like 2:10 or something. Of course, I was in a deep sleep, so I didn't hear anything. But I guarantee you, the amount of ruckus that he made, all the bells and stuff, I would have woken up. But since I went into a deep sleep, I couldn't hear anything. And it made me so sad because if I would have heard the struggle, the bells, the struggle of him struggling, I would have ran over there and helped him. So I grabbed, I called my cousin, the one they gave me. I called him up real fast because I was gonna tell my grandma, but it was more important for my cousin to know first. So I called him up and I said, "You're not gonna believe what happened." And then he says, he didn't even answer. I just said Paku died, and then he just like, oh no, very devastated because he was the caretaker of Paku at the veterinarian clinic. It was devastating news for him because he's the one that took care of him when he was there. And I just told him about that, the whole scenario, the situation, and I said he got his beak stuck. Like, there's so many scenarios, I've watched the whole entire video today of him dangling, and he was struggling so bad. And when I told him, and I said his beak got stuck, and he's just like, it's really a freak accident. And then sometimes I consider it as like it's a weird freak accident because he does it all the time. He falls down and picks himself back up, but there's another thing too called the cold weather effect. That's where it makes sense because maybe he was just too cold. He didn't have enough strength to, pick up his feet and grasp himself. So I I wrapped him up in one of my jackets and I laid him there and I was just it's just he's frozen shut. Like his mouth is frozen up. I cannot close it for nothing. And it's just very devastating. Very, very devastating. I called my grandma and I told her what happened and I found a little box because I'm not gonna bury him. I'm not gonna bury him. I'm going to cremate him because I've cremated all my animals that I cherish and that they meant so much to me. So we're gonna go and I'm gonna show you. Let me go get some more H2O real quick. Okay. All right. So in the beginning of time, Paku's cage. Where to go? Was I don't know if anybody, if the true OGs are here, you would know. Paku's cage was right here in the beginning of time when I had Claire, my little bird. Um, of course, everything's arranged now, but this is where his cage was set up. And let's see, okay, my living room, I can't get a good thing. And oh my goodness, I forgot to turn off the fan. Yeah, it's cold. Oh, but it's good. Okay, so there's his cage now. Um, okay, so he's no longer with us, guys. He is no longer with us. This is his cage. Still dirty, because I was gonna clean it probably today or someday. Um, I don't have good lighting here. Let me. Okay, there. So step into the place where Paku once lived. And I'll tell you right now. So, as you can see, this is the little cage set up. I got a camera on him. He loves to sleep here. And he loves to sleep on this little branch. And he loves to poop on that branch. And then he loves to sleep on this branch. And then whenever I'm on my live streams, he eats right here. And his little bowl there, still there, And Yeah, this is where I have him set up. So when I found him, guys, he was right here, right there, latched, latched on right here. And the weirdest thing, is that when he sleeps right here, his feet are on this branch. Sometimes he slips, he falls. When he slips and falls, he falls right here, but then he falls down on the floor, not on the floor, but on the cage. So right here, this time around, he slipped and just slipped. He grabbed his beak right here and just kept slipping. Like his feet were slipping and slipping and slipping. He could not grab on. And then I guess over time, he gave up. So when I found him, his beak was on there, guys. And I mean on there. I could not get his beak off of the branch. And then he was just hanging, and it's very sad. There's his other stuff, and on top of his cage, just randomly, I have little toys. And he used to, all the time when I let him out, he would be right here on top of there. And you want to know something crazy too? That it's annoys me. And today, when I was with Paco in the other room, and he was, he's no longer there, I heard his bell. And I freaked the heck out. And I want to keep my camera there, my CCTV camera, on the cage for the night, because I want to see if his presence are still here. As crazy as that sounds, just imagine that bell just going off randomly and you're asleep. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen, and I want to see it. I want to see it and capture it on camera, because it's really no joke. I know the winds are high right now. The winds are absolutely high. Yeah, there's his cage. He's no longer here with us, and I'm gonna try to see what I can do with the cage, because that's a very expensive cage. And I personally don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, with this cage situation. I I am gonna freak myself the F out. I am. And I know it. Because I already demonstrated the time that I was here with Paku. He's no longer with us. That bell rang. And I thought I heard it. I heard a little dangle. So right now it's all like, I have to do something, because it's hard for me. It was hard for me to leave today. And I mean like going to my grandma's. Because every day, guys, every day, I feed him. Every day, before I leave, I give him a kiss on the head. Or I, you know, touch his feathers. If he's like inside the cage where I can't touch him, then I'll just, say goodbye. I say, okay, Paku, I'm going to work now. And then, just leave it be. But it was so hard today. you know, that's life, guys. That is life. Life. And I was talking about this a long time ago on my live stream about how life is and how life works with animals. They're in our life for that moment, to make us happy, to make us forget about the day. Forget about this. You spend time with your animal, your bird, your chinchilla, your dog, your cat. They're only with us for a little bit of time. And Paku, he was, I think, probably like 14 or 15 years old. So again, a lot of things play out in the role. Um, if you have me on social media, like on Instagram, I will post some videos and photos of him there. But mm, I remember here that is whenever he got trust in me to put him in his cage because he was so excited that he was going to get a treat. And he's just like, no, don't touch me. And then he's like, okay, go ahead. I don't trust you too much, but let's. Mr. Bones. Let me see if I can turn up the volume. Paku. 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 Let Bones go. Paku. He lets it go. Why are you messing with Mr. Bones? One time he got out and the chinchilla was out. Not chinchilla was out, but he went on the chinchilla cage. Paco. Oh. And he was like, Paco meets chinchilla. Go grizzly. Oh no. That was when I first got him because he used to like to run around. This was. Looks like Paku is getting the hang of it, of running around. Look, let's see. I'm gonna see where he goes. Paku, come here. Come here. I'm sitting down in my chair. Come here. His little feet. I'm sharing Paku moments, guys. Let me see. This is where is the one? There's so much, guys. Oh, hold on. There's so many videos and photos I have. The list goes on for days. Hold on. Look at the eyes of Paco. What do you see? Oh, this is when he messed with the camera. He always got mad at the camera. So I had to zip tie it down because he kept knocking it over. When he hears Roomba Maria, he gets all crazy and excited when he hears the Roomba. You know, yeah. And he has his feathers. I don't know why I'm not. And then his treat time. I don't know if you're true ODs out there. You remember his treat time? Paco ASMR. Paco ASMR. Paco's gonna get a treat ASMR. Let's see what he does. Paco. That was him munching on his treat. Oh, and his watermelon. Let's see if Paco wants a watermelon. Let's see if Paco wants a watermelon. He would love the watermelon. He loves what's it called? Apples. Yeah, apples was the main source that he loved. Apples. Let me see if I have one. So I have so many photos. That was him just messing around. Let's see how pretty Paco is. What you doing, little bird? He wants a scratch. Whenever he does that, he wants to scratch on his head. I think that's when he was upside down, his cage. That was hilarious. I don't know how he got upside down. Me and Paco just chilling. Right, Paco? He loves to chill. What kind of look is that? Paco, what kind of look is that? He just looks. Paco, I can't focus on your eyeballs. Paco, what you doing? What you doing? Hmm? You got feathers hanging out. Hmm? And I got you one of these. And I got you one of these. I got Paco a shoe. Look, I got you a shoe. I got Paco a shoe. Those are some Paco moments, guys. You know, they're gonna stick with me. They're gonna be with me forever. There's him eating an apple. Paco's munching on the apple. There was one time that he closed his own cage. Oh, one Roomba Maria. That's how he get when he hears the Roomba. He wants to get in the water and bathe. The time it was a big bird.
Fuck, what are you doing on the floor?
I remember that.
What are you doing on the floor? You gonna run back?
Um, this was the last video I think of him. I'm thinking was on New Year's.
Paco, we're almost there. He's like, I'm asleep. Paco, we're almost there.
That was whenever it was about to be New Year's. So yeah, guys, look at him. So yeah. But it's very devastating news right now. I am I'm gonna crewmate him. I of course the winter storm here is a lot of places closed down. But well tomorrow basically I'm gonna tell my grandma if she can call around to see where I can get him cremated. A lot of people, a lot of places in town they overcharge. That's why you gotta go like outside the city to get a decent price. But he is gonna be cremated. He's gonna be with Claire and my cat named Freddie. This I don't know. Let me see. Let's go over here real quick. I'll show you where he's gonna be. So here is my cremations of my Claire, my bird, and Freddie. That's my cremations of them. So I'm probably gonna make a something for him there. We'll see. But yeah, that's where he's going to be. This this is a really tough live stream. I have not done one of these in a long time. Like the last one was about the kitten. Um, Animals can leave such an impact on you, total impact on you. And as far as getting another bird, I don't think at the moment is the right time. I'm not a person that, gets an animal. Well, if the animal dies, get another animal. No, I need time to heal, need time to think. I'm not just going to run to the pet store and just give me another bird. As far as the cage, like I said, it's going to freak me out for a while until I figure things out because I had a hard time today leaving without telling him goodbye today, and it really really got to me, really got to me. And then I had a hard time coming home because every time I come home, I welcome myself saying, "Fuck, I'm home." So it's going to leave a big impact. I know it is. So my my thoughts is like with the cage, of course, take everything out, clean everything. That's gonna be a hard part because when I clean his cage, and, and he's just missing, it's a missing gap, and it's so weird. It's always gonna be weird like that in life, where something's missing. But I've been looking into getting a bigger chinchilla cage for a couple of months now because, Grover has a cage that I made him, and I feel like he's grown out of it. So I was thinking, A, sell the cage, which is worth over $1,000. B, break down the cage, see if I could break down the cage into many pieces so I could stick it in my closet and just leave it there for, I don't know. And B, the last thing I was thinking was make it a chinchilla cage. I would just have to buy some plywood, some wood, and it could be my new chinchilla cage. That was the last one I was thinking. Because I'm all like, I don't know what to do with the cage. Because it's a big cage. It takes up a lot of space. At the same time, I want to put it to use. At the same time, I want to, I want someone to buy it. I'm not gonna donate it. It's an expensive cage. So I'm still pondering what to do because it's still fresh. But then I don't want the cage there because of that memory and those memories. So it's all like I have to do something. And we're gonna figure it out and see what to do. But yeah, I just can't believe it. He's actually gone. He's actually gone. I'm gonna miss saying his name. I'm gonna miss saying pretty bird, pretty bird. Like every single time that I'm off, like I get off early, I spend time with him. I take him out of his cage, or he lets himself get out of the cage, and then we'll spend time together. And then he'll just be random, and then I'll just say pretty bird, and sometimes he does repeat, like you can hear him saying pretty bird back in his own way. So Paco will be missed, but I gave the best life for him. I gave his retirement life, and as old as he is, like I said, there's a lot of factors that play along. His age, the cold weather, his weight. There's so much. Currently, he's in the freezer right now until I figure out where I'm going to cremate him. But we never know what's going to happen in life, guys. You always make the best out of it. I have made the best out of every single moment out of my pets' lives. Gogru, the bird, Paku. I made memories for life. He's no longer here anymore. And it sucks. I had to say something. Yep. Me too. So with that being said, thank you, Love Blessed, for being here. Thank you, Deflection, for joining. And I saw a couple of people join here on the live stream. I am going to end it with a good moment of silence as well. Hopefully, whoever sees this video and stuff, I know it sounds weird, but Just so you know, this is where Paku used to lie. And when he lived here, he was always welcomed by everybody. He was always joyful, and he made other people, want to touch him and want to play with him. But he was not that type that you can touch him and play with him. He was more of, I want to get to know you first. Well, with that being said, guys, I'm already going into an hour. A little moment of silence for Paku. Paku, you will be missed. Thank you, everybody, for joining again. And whoever watches this in the future, um, you can go look uh, at some of my old videos. You'll see his cage in the frame. I can't believe it's happened. That's where my other bird cage was. That's a memory of Claire as well, a painting. Um, Thank you, Love Bless, for all the kind words. Rest in peace, Paku. We love you. We love you. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.